If you control your breath, you can control your mind, you can control your body. I'd be constantly being told this in training. During the intensity of our training, punching, kicking, you're breathing hard, you're tired. So you have to focus on your breath. If you're breathing heavy, your blood, your heart is going to be pumping like a racehorse. As you slow that heart rate down by focusing on the breath, by slowing it down, your heart rate has that same response, meaning you can last longer without getting your heart rate to a danger zone, right? We can expend less energy, and by breathing, we can bring in more oxygen into our blood system, which gives us energy, right? Oxygen is used in our cells to literally produce energy. So it is very important to breathe during high intensity exercises.
Welcome to the Unlimited You podcast. Believing firmly in the limitless potential that resides within each individual, your host, Master Victor Almeida, a distinguished martial arts expert, is here to guide you in unlocking your inner power. Each episode offers practical knowledge, from strength training techniques to the calming practices of meditation, tailored to enhance your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us on this empowering journey and embrace the warrior that lies within you.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Unlimited You. This week, we're going to be talking about breath work, the unsung hero, probably the most important thing we can do in our practice aside from maybe actually meditate. We do breath work and meditation together. We use them hand in hand. Today, we're going to talk about what is breath work, why do we do it, what's the importance of it, and how often should we do it. It's probably one of the things that has really changed my life the most. So everybody breathes. We need to breathe in order to live. It is a physiological process that's pretty complicated that involves your heart, your lungs, and your brain. They need to work together in order to get oxygen into your system and carbon dioxide out. Normally, breathing is a subconscious action where we're not actively thinking about how we're breathing. We're just kind of doing it. Breath work is taking our awareness and putting it 100% on our breath. So we are being mindful and aware of how that breath is moving it and keeping it consistent, right? So you're taking your breathing process and you're just bringing awareness to it and making it more intentional. Now there's many different types of breath work, right? There's different techniques, there's different methods, different applications. So what we're referring to when we say breath work is just making a conscious awareness of how you're going to be breathing, and then we can use different techniques to amplify that. Now, for example, I think in a few of the earlier episodes, we went over a little bit of the skull shining breath. Skull shining breath is a powerful exhalation, and then you have a very kind of passive inhalation that kind of happens naturally. And you're exerting the air, that carbon out of your system, and you're allowing that emotion to squeeze and push out of you. And another thing that happens in breath work, another one of those physiological things that happens is our breath regulates our pH level in our blood. Now, when you're eating food or water, that's going to regulate the pH of essentially the liquids in your digestive system. So that's going to affect your pee, maybe your poop. But drinking pH level water is not going to affect your blood. That's going to be your breath. The oxygen that's getting into your system is going to alkalinize your blood. The carbon dioxide getting more into your system is going to make your blood more acidic. So when we do breath work, we're intentionally bringing in oftentimes more oxygen into our system. We're alkalinizing the blood. Oftentimes you're going to get lightheaded, you might get tingling sensations, and these other different physical responses that are completely normal, just part of doing the breath work. And our body naturally does this. So let's say your blood is getting a little bit more acidic, you haven't been taking big deep breaths, and there's carbon building up in your blood. Well, your body's going to start taking deeper breaths, bringing in more oxygen naturally without you even thinking about it. It's just a normal, natural response that your body has. So kind of getting more into these different techniques. Wim Hof popularized the Wim Hof Method, which is an ancient breathing technique that they do in the Himalayas. It's very powerful in clearing out emotions, alkalinizing the body, and establishing relaxation, right? I love doing skull shining technique as it helps clear the emotions and it drives the energy from the body up to the head, which is essentially what we're doing when we're doing meditation. Another one of my favorites that I do pretty much every day in my meditation is our measured breathing. It is breathing in, holding, and then exhaling for the same amount of time. So we'll breathe in for 7 seconds, we'll hold for 7 seconds, and we'll exhale for 7 seconds. And what this does is it allows your mind to focus on the breath. So it gives mental clarity, it helps to relax the body. But the most important thing that we use it for in our meditation is bringing mental clarity, in focusing the mind not on the thoughts, but fully bringing that awareness to the breath. And by slowing the breath, we can slow our minds. If you notice, you start rapidly breathing, your mind's probably going to start chattering really fast. It's going to start talking and have all these thoughts running all over the place. But if you take a few big deep breaths, and this is a proven scientific thing, and I've written an article on our website, feraacademy.com, and you can go there. I have articles being posted on there usually at least once a month, and you can look more into this. I have all the sources posted on there, and you can also check the description. If you're on YouTube, I'll be posting it on there, so you can click and verify, because always verify, right? Don't just take people's word for stuff, right? So the scientific process has proven that breath work instills calmness and relaxation in the body. So let's say you've had a really stressful day, your boss was kind of crappy to you at work, you come home and you're just feeling heavy, you're feeling like, oh, I hate my job, blah, 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 right? Do some breath work. Right? Get out of that mind. Because what happens when we have these thoughts, they lead us down a pathway of just a cycle of thoughts, and it doesn't end, it just gets worse. So what we want to do is bring the awareness to the breath. And that immediately, what it does is takes your mind off the thing, right? And you put it on your breath. Already, you're going to be more relaxed. Then, by focusing on the breath, you're quieting the mind, allowing it to focus on the moment, the body, this present moment, and bringing the awareness here. There's so much going on in the moment. If you try, feeling your body, smelling, hearing, and seeing and tasting everything all at once, there's so much input coming in that tuning into the present moment will wash away that trend of thought, that stream of consciousness that's making us focus on that hardship. And it'll bring it to that relaxation. And that relaxation starts in the mind by focusing on the breath, and then it reverberates throughout the entire body. It has a physiological response. You release chemicals, your body relaxes. It changes the frequency of your brain patterns and allows you to literally calm down. It is a very powerful thing to do. Specifically, skull shining is probably one of my favorites for that specific instant. And there's a beautiful tutorial on YouTube that I can also link on here. And we'll be going over a few of these breathing techniques today as well. So you can practice these and see how powerful they are. And it's really about how much of yourself you're going to put into those techniques, and you're going to get that out of it. Breath work is really important in establishing like a good martial arts practice as well. When I was learning martial arts, my senior master would constantly tell me, breathe, 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 focus on your breath. If you control your breath, you can control your mind, you can control your body. I'd be constantly being told this in training. During the intensity of our training, punching, kicking, you're breathing hard, you're tired. So you have to focus on your breath. If you're breathing heavy, your blood, your heart is going to be pumping like a racehorse. As you slow that heart rate down by focusing on the breath, by slowing it down, your heart rate has that same response, meaning you can last longer without getting your heart rate to a danger zone, right? We can expend less energy, and by breathing, we can bring in more oxygen into our blood system, which gives us energy, right? Oxygen is used in our cells to literally produce energy. So it is very important to breathe during high intensity exercises. And it's probably like where I really started my breathing journey, was applying it in exercises. And I really noticed that the more I focused on my breath, I could just train for a crazy amount of time, where I would be getting out of breath before because I'd be focusing on the intensity of the exercise, and then I'd get tired. When I brought my mind and I took that awareness and put it to the moment and breathing, and I let go of all of what I'm trying to do, I let go of all these thoughts, I enter that flow state, and I focus on my breath, magic happens. The body relaxes, my speed increased, my mind became calmer. I didn't feel afraid. And oftentimes, in a self defense situation, we are defeated first in our heads and then we're not able to handle it correctly. So, by establishing a sense of calmness inside, we are able to more accurately handle difficult and different situations, right? And this is one of the biggest keys, that breath work and focusing on the breath will instill that inner calmness. And that's so critical, because like we lose that inner calmness. We'll get so emotionally attached to the things happening in our lives, and then like something bad happens and you're just feeling crappy the rest of the day, and everybody you talk to, you're exerting that energy out onto, right? So by walking throughout our life with that internal sense of calmness, we're sharing that energy, we're sharing that calmness with other people through our smile, through our interaction, through literally the way we talk to them, the tone of voice, right? And that comes from, it starts here. It starts here. So we have to control ourselves in the brain, in the lungs, and that controls our heart, that controls everything else. This is why breathwork is so important, that it's literally the starting point for everything else. And it often gets neglected because it's like, oh, we all know how to breathe. And then you do breath work and you're like, oh, that was really hard. I don't know if I have been breathing correctly. And not a lot of people have done that kind of work to even make that realization about themselves, right? And now let's transition into like what happens in breath work, because it is very powerful. You get a lot of different benefits from it. Now, of course, you have to do these techniques correctly. There's many different ways, many different techniques. From my own personal experience, the breath work can provide a large emotional release through bringing awareness of the body. So in our breathwork practice, we were breathing in intentionally and breathing out intentionally. When you do that, you're breathing in more oxygen and you're exhaling more carbon, which means you're alkalinizing your blood. You're bringing in more oxygen, which allows for higher brain function. It allows for higher output of energy in your muscles. It can reduce soreness. It can kill some bad bacteria within your system. There's a lot of benefits that come from just alkalinizing your blood. What's also been proven is it calms the whole entire system, right? When that happens, when you get relaxed, when you get calm, you become aware of where the tightness in your body is being held. We oftentimes hold a lot of stress in our hips, our shoulders, some people in their knees, some people in their jaw. So what happens as you're relaxing, you're going into the breath work, and then you get to the breath holding part. And the breath holding part is where a lot of that magic happens. You're forced to deal with this flight or flight reflex, and you're allowing your body to do what it can naturally do through relaxation, right? You relax the body, you observe the mind, the sensations, the feelings, and what happens is calmness starts to be instilled in the body. Awareness starts to come to the spots where you hold tension. Like for me, example, I hold a lot of tension on my mid glute here, on the top of my glute, from sitting too much or just standing wrong. And I often have a little bit of tightness there. When I'm doing breath work, I will feel that tightness and I might move my hip a little bit. I might bring that awareness, and the awareness of it allows me to feel the muscles around where the tightness is, and it helps me relax. And what I found, and this is very true, and I'm pretty sure I have an article linking this on the post I made on our website, but there's a link between the tightness we have in our body and emotional and mental suppression. And we often hold a lot of the experiences, negative as well, in our bodies. So trauma can be held in specific muscles, and you may be just tense. Some people hold it in their shoulders, right? And releasing the muscle can oftentimes help bring awareness to the emotional trauma or grief that's being held in the body. And literally releasing the tension in the muscle will bring forward to the mind what is happening in the emotions. And it allows you to deal with it, and it's beautiful. I've experienced many people cry, laugh. Some people just get really deep into the breath. And it is unique to each person based on their own life experiences, their own level of awareness of themselves, and how much they can let go and kind of where they are in their journey. The release of the muscles really becomes powerful. And it becomes critical for our meditation as well, because in order to meditate deeply, we have to have a relaxed body. If we're constantly tight or pain in our bodies, we can't leave the awareness out of the body. Like you're constantly having to adjust your position or relax a specific area, and your awareness, your consciousness is there rather than being on the breath, rather than being on the third eye and really deepening the focus. It's on the body. So one of the first things we need to do is really relax the body. And once we do that, we can then bring the awareness to the breath and go into the meditation. For our meditation specifically, I think I already went over this a little bit. We use the measured breathing, and it becomes really powerful. In like every time I do it, I just become calm. I first relax the body through what we call a double inhalation. And the double inhalation is a short and then a long breath. It sounds like this. And then you hold the breath and you squeeze every muscle in the body, from your calves, your quads, your hips, your belly, your chest, your arms, your neck. And then you double exhale out and relaxing the body. This tightening of the muscles helps relax your entire body. Breathing in brings in oxygen and it allows that pressure to send out. Releasing the breath and relaxing the body allows that relaxation to deepen. Right? So let's try these two techniques. We're going to do the double inhalation. When we do the double inhalation, we're going to hold the breath, starting off low, medium, and then high intensity, squeezing every muscle in the body with your willpower. And then we're going to double exhale out. After we do that 3 times, we're going to go into our measured breathing. We're going to do our measured breathing, let's say 4 rounds. Sometimes you can go 5 if I'm kind of in a rush that day and I feel like I've gotten the benefit. Sometimes I'll only do 3. I minimum will do at least 3. And you can start off with 7 seconds, working your way up to 8, 9, 10. But you want to be comfortable when you're doing these breaths. You don't want to be feeling like I can't breathe, right? You want to be comfortable and relaxed in the breath work, at least for this specific breath work. Right? There's some other ones where there's some other goals, but for our measured breathing, we want to be relaxed. Eventually, once your breath slows down, maybe you can hold it 12 seconds breathing in, 12 seconds hold, 12 seconds breathing out. And that's just the more used to it your body gets.
At Fera Academy, we believe every person has unlimited potential waiting to be unleashed. Join our academy and discover your inner power through disciplines like Taekwondo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, martial arts weapons, and more. Our experienced instructors empower you with the skills, strength, and wisdom to become an unstoppable warrior. Train in a focused, inclusive environment where you'll progress quickly. Learn meditation, nutrition, and breathing techniques to develop a balanced body, mind, and spirit. Uncover your true potential and prepare for life's challenges at Fera Academy. Start your journey. Visit feraacademy.com today.
So let's give this a try to get into our breathing. If you are driving, you can do this with your eyes open, but be very careful and aware. I recommend you pulling over to do any kind of breath work like this. Also, if you are out in a public space, maybe just be aware of where you are so you are in a safe area. Don't want to put anybody in a compromised situation. So we want to be sitting forward off the back of our chairs with our hands upturned at the intersection of the hips, belly forward and chin parallel to the ground. This creates a nice straight spine. We're dealing with energy work here. We're sending the energy from the base, from our root, all the way to our brain. So sitting up tall allows that straight line and that energy to move up. With our eyes closed, let's take a regulating big deep breath in, filling the lungs. And then breathing out, letting go, nice and slow. Now we're going to take a double inhalation in, holding the breath, squeezing low, medium, high intensity. Every muscle in the body vibrate with willpower. Double exhale out. Relaxing the body, relaxing all of the muscles. Let's do it again. Double inhalation in. Low, medium, high intensity, vibrate with willpower. And double exhale. Relax the body. One last time here, double inhale. Squeezing low, medium, vibrate with willpower, squeezing every single muscle in your body. Double exhale. Relax every little muscle. Feel the muscles becoming like jello dripping off of the bone. Sitting up tall, we can bring our gaze to the center of the forehead. Let's take a big regulating deep breath in. And one more time, big deep breath in. Fill the lungs and let it out. Getting ready for measured breathing. Breathing in slow for 8 seconds. Holding the breath. And breathing out. Breathing in. Nice and slow. Keeping that gaze uplifted at the third eye. Slowly holding. And breathing out. Breathing in. Feel that air coming in through the nostrils, filling the lungs, holding the breath. And letting the air slowly come out. Letting go of the breath. Feel the calmness you've instilled within yourself. Bring your awareness back to your body. And that's just a very quick, short example of the breath work we use in our meditation, and it prepares our body and it prepares our mind. And after I did that, I already feel a lot calmer. I did get a little bit sweaty though from the vibrating, you're squeezing the muscles. And after that, we would go into our hung saw technique and go deeper into our meditation. So using breath work can be very critical for dealing with stressful situations. And this is essential in martial arts. If you can't control your mind, you can't control yourself. And that's the only thing we can control. And by controlling ourselves, we can establish peace, we can treat others with courtesy, do things with integrity, with respect. And that's really what it's about, is instilling these values so that we are living a good life, so that we're treating others with peace. Because that's kind of the goal of martial arts, is instilling this calmness and this peace inside of yourself that is unwavering. Our guru teaches us, Paramahansa Yogananda, that you can stand amidst the crash of breaking worlds with calmness in your hearts, unshaken, because that feeling is always there. We must just connect with it. And once we realize that, the hardship of many situations becomes easier to do. If you're in a conversation and you're feeling that emotional overload, breathe, Take a big deep breath in and sigh it out. Let it out through the breath and feel yourself calm down. The breath is powerful, and utilizing these different techniques can become transformative in how you go about your life. It's definitely transformed like how I deal with my emotions, how I deal with my thoughts during hard moments. I go to breath work. I practice breath work at least once a day, and I do a good session multiple times a week. And what I found is when I don't do that kind of work and life happens, because life freaking happens and it's stressful and some things are just hard, I feel it. And then when I go to do the breath work, I feel that restriction building in my diaphragm, in my abdomen, right? And it restricts my diaphragm from opening, and then I can't breathe as deeply. And if I can't breathe as deeply, I'm not getting a full deep breath. I'm not getting as much oxygen. And again, oxygen was tied to increased brain function, increased healing, higher energy. So we want to be able to breathe deeply with our diaphragms. Oftentimes we're just breathing shallow with our chest. To make sure you're breathing deeply with your diaphragm, if you sit up tall and you put your hand on your belly, you want to feel that hand expanding and contracting with each breath. The diaphragm is this muscle that comes down and gives space for the lungs to expand, filling down here. Right, so we want to use our belly, that diaphragm muscle, to expand. There's multiple diaphragms, of course, in your body. I'm talking about the one we use at the bottom here for breathing. And that's going to give us a deeper breath, a fuller breath, rather than the shallow stuff that, it keeps the lower side that's unused in our lungs filled with carbon. And that's acidic and that's not good, right? So we want to be clearing out that air, the carbon dioxide out of our lungs by taking regular full deep breaths, and that is very rare to do in today's world. So, be aware of your breath, do some breath work. Check out the description. I'm going to have some cool links, some examples, some sources for y'all. If you have any questions, submit a comment, send me an email, go to our website, feraacademy.com/you. Also, almost every single major city I've been to in the US has a community that has good breathwork teachers. Go find someone who is doing a breathwork workshop. I recommend the Wim Hof Method, skull shining, and if you find any teachers who do Kriya Yoga out of Ananda Village, and there's multiple places throughout the US, go to one of those. Experience what that feels like. The practice, usually when you're doing a full breathwork practice, we're doing 3 rounds. And in the 3 rounds, the first one kind of gets you prepped. The second one, you get a little bit deeper. And then the third one, you're loose, you're open, and you can breathe deeper, you can go further, you can relax even more, and it allows you to release more. So breathwork, like this is a 22-minute episode. We wouldn't even be done with the 3rd round yet, right? So it takes a little bit of time and commitment to do the full practice, but it's worth it. You can do, Wim Hof has an 11-minute video. There's I think another 11-minute video on skull shining as well. There's a lot of sources out there. So go for it, try it. It is life-changing. I can't reiterate that enough. So learn how to breathe, practice breath work. You won't regret it. And stay tuned for our next episode. Subscribe to our channel and go to feraacademy.com/you to find out more. We'll see you all soon, and breathe.
Thank you for joining Master Victor on The Unlimited You. Make sure to visit our website, www.feraacademy.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.